Hello everyone, Jose here again with another tip for a laptop that it has either a no power issue or a blank screen issue. Um, One of the things you can do is that obviously on this one, when we press on the power button, nothing happens. If you plug in the adapter and you still get nothing, and you're not sure if the unit is getting power or not, if you have one of these good multimeters that has a non-contact voltage detector, you can, even when it's off, you can still press it and come into the screen, and you will not get a reading of anything. Now, as soon as you plugged it in, right? As soon as you plug it in, you bring it closer to it. See, the laptop is getting power. So that's one way to check if the laptop is getting the power from the power cord. Another thing is that when we turn it on, we can hear it turning on, but there's no backlight. Nothing's happening. So we don't know exactly if this video or not. When we look up really close, we can see some letters here. So we have image, but there's no backlight. So what do? We go to the inverter board. There's two things that you can do on the inverter board. And one is to test it, obviously, with a known good inverter board. If you have one that matches the connection that comes from the motherboard, which is kind of hard. And another one is to use a spare bulb that you can test it with. So if you happen to have a known good board, this one, when we check it in, you will see that the connector is different, so we cannot plug it into the board to test. But we can use a known good LCD bulb like this one. So I'm gonna take the screw out and see if the bulb lights up, and let's see what we can get. Okay, so now we get the inverter board out. Just disconnected it. So what we do is we take the good bulb that we have here, we plug it in. Remember, you always plug it in with the letters up. It only fits one way anyways. And now we'll power it on and see if we can get some light on it. Yep, the bulb lights up. So we know there's power here. We know the bulb is good, so most likely this board, the LCD, the backlight on the LCD is busted. So there it goes. So much for testing. Two things we do after this. After we turn it on and unplug it, you have to be careful to always flash the power on this. Now, if you're tempted to check voltages, never check voltages on this side of the board. It doesn't matter what kind of meter you have. If it's one of these, they usually go up to 600 volts, or even one of these good ones, you have to get a very high end, over 1,000 volts meter. And usually the ones we carry is like up to 600 volts. So you don't want to touch that end, and you don't want to probe that end to measure no voltages. It can be up to 900 something volts on that end, so you want to stay away from it as much as possible. One thing you can do is come to the connector side, and you can do some probing on this side. Okay, so one of the things you can do is that let's say you plug in your good bulb and you don't get anything, and you want to know if the inverter board is still good. You want to check out how much voltages you're getting, what kind of voltage you're getting out of the motherboard. So what you do is, you get your meter, you put it on DC, and when you go to the connector, you will see, obviously, you get your black probe on ground, and then with your red probe, you will have these cables, like the red cable. These ones that have a black, like this one, they have a black band on it. They are ground, so you don't need to check those out. On different models of computers, they have different, you might have the whole black cable on it for the connector, but in this case it has a black band on a red cable, and it's just another ground. So you go for the the red and the yellows, and the blue and green is just signals coming back. So you go for the reds and the yellows. So so when you click on it and you touch this one, you have to be careful. You get like 5 volts. You go to the next one and you get about 3 volts. You come to this one, this one, and you get another 5 volts. So it's one way to tell that you're getting the correct voltage coming out of the motherboard. If you were proving this and you were not getting, you were getting nothing on it, or less than 3 volts on everything, the motherboard will be bad. So that's one way you can test out, if it is the inverter board that is bad or a motherboard. Again, you want to stay away from that other side where it has the AC voltage, because it's about 900 something volts in some of the models. So you're gonna fry your meter unless you get a high-end meter with over 1,000 volts capability, and those go for over $500. So kind of hard. So with the black probe on ground, we go to each of those cables, and you can start testing on the red one. You should have about 5 volts, and that's what we got. On this one we get also as well. This one we have also 5 volts. So you can test how much voltage you have coming out of the motherboard. And lastly, a little piece of advice: whenever you dismantle and you take apart any part from a laptop or computer, always use a spudger or a nylon probe, this way or the other way. Why? Because if you use any kind of metal, see with these ones, they come out nice and easy. Since this is nylon, it's never going to scratch. Even if you go like this, it's never going to scratch the laptop. It will never. If you were to do this, with a metal screwdriver, you're going to scratch the heck out of it. And same thing goes for whenever you remove these like rubber spots. You use the nylon probe, you can poke it in however you want it, and you take it out, and it never scratches. It never scratches the plastic because it's nylon. If you were, removing those rubber pads with a screwdriver, with a metal screwdriver, you will undoubtedly scratch it. So don't scratch it. It's not good for the customer. It doesn't look good on you either. So nylon probes or spudgers for the win all the time. Please.